Increase does not arrive in a single moment. It accumulates through continuity. This is the element that determines whether increase occurs at all. Not intensity, not a single powerful session of thinking. Continuity, thinking sustained upon what is recognized within, day after day, without interruption. This is the 7-minute daily focus, day 227 of 365, to focus on the world within from the world without. Today's focus, the law of increase, and continuity. Pause for a moment. Increase does not arrive in a single moment. It accumulates through continuity. This is the element that determines whether increase occurs at all. Not intensity, not a single powerful session of thinking. Continuity, thinking sustained upon what is recognized within, day after day, without interruption. Pause for a moment. Consider how increase actually accumulates. It is not linear, it compounds. Each day of undisturbed continuity does not simply add to the day before, it builds upon it, multiplies through it. A small amount sustained without interruption becomes larger than a great amount, interrupted and restarted. This is not sentiment, this is how continuity operates. Every interruption does not merely pause the increase. It costs the compounding that continuity was building. Thought is within, effect is without, and thinking stands between. Pause for a moment. This is why the thinker who wants increase must care less about the size of a single day's thinking and more about whether that thinking continues tomorrow. One day of sustained thinking upon increase, followed by doubt, followed by a return to scarcity. This is interrupted continuity. An interrupted continuity does not compound. It restarts again and again, never accumulating, but thinking that returns every day to the same recognized seed, undisturbed by what is or is not yet physically seen. This is continuity, and continuity is what increase requires. Pause. Notice what this means practically. You are not required to think more intensely about increase today than yesterday. You are required to think about it again today, consistently, without abandoning it when conditions are unclear, without doubling it when conditions are favorable. The same recognized seed, sustained again. This is what builds the continuity that increase depends on, not more force, more returning. Pause. Continuity does not ask whether increase is visible yet. It continues regardless. Because continuity understands something scarcity thinking does not. The compounding is happening beneath what is currently seen, whether or not the eyes can measure it yet. Every day of sustained thinking is not wasted while unseen. It is building toward the moment increase becomes visible, and what continues uninterrupted within must eventually physically express. Pause. There is a temptation worth naming directly, the temptation of the clean slate. On a difficult day, it can feel easier to declare a fresh start, to set the seed aside, gather resolve, and begin again tomorrow, as if today did not count. But the ground within does not reset simply because thinking felt weak for an afternoon. What has been sustained remains sustained. The clean slate is rarely as clean as it feels. Usually it is simply continuity, quietly intact, waiting to be returned to, without the drama of starting over. Pause. This matters because restarting, treated as necessary, becomes its own interruption. A thinker who believes they must begin again from zero often does exactly that, discards the accumulation already built, and genuinely does start from nothing, but a thinker who understands that continuity survives a difficult day simply returns. No ceremony, no declaration, just the same seed sustained again exactly where it was left. That return, practiced without drama, is what continuity actually requires. Pause. There is a particular doubt worth addressing directly. Am I doing enough? It sounds like diligence, but often it is simply another form of interruption, a restless checking of one's own effort that pulls thinking away from the seed and onto an anxious audit of the self. Here is the answer, plainly. Steady, moderate sustaining, return to every day without fail will always outperform occasional bursts of intense effort followed by long gaps. You do not need more intensity today. You need the same quiet return you gave yesterday and the willingness to give it again tomorrow. That is enough. It has always been enough. Pause. One simple anchor makes continuity far easier to sustain, the first attention of the day. Whatever receives your thinking first, before the phone, before the news, before anyone else's agenda, tends to set the tone the rest of the day is measured against. Let the seed of increase claim that position, not the whole day's thinking, just the first few minutes of it. Continuity built from that anchor point tends to hold far more easily than continuity attempted later, once the day has already filled itself with everything else. Now, the affirmation for day 227. Pause for a moment. Life increases from within. Increase is not something I add. It is something I allow. I do not force it. I do not strain toward it. I recognize increase within and I sustain thinking upon it. I do not follow what is physically seen. I remain steadfast through what is not yet seen. What is sustained within increases, and what increases must physically express. Remember, by design, by focus.